Pro wrestling thrives on controversy. Most of the time, it's all part of the show, a way to create drama and leave the audience gasping in surprise. But there are moments when the lines blur between what's real and what's scripted, leaving fans questioning what just happened. In some cases, wrestlers make choices that end up damaging their careers in ways they might not have foreseen. Sometimes they know exactly what they're doing and go through with it anyway. Other times, the consequences don't hit until it's too late to turn back. Imagine if we could travel back in time to explore those career-defining moments. Whether it was bad luck, a poor decision, or just a terrible misunderstanding, some wrestlers made choices that lit a match to their careers. From Vader misreading Shawn Michaels' move at SummerSlam 1996 to Juventud Guerrera's bizarre antics against Paul London, these are the stories of wrestlers whose actions left a permanent mark on their paths. Before we dive into the details, we kindly request that you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. Your subscription encourages us to create more amazing content for you. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Let's start with Alundra Blaze. Deborah Miceli, better known as Alundra Blaze, was a key figure in the WWF's women's division. But in December 1995, she left the company and joined WCW. When she appeared on Monday Nitro, she brought the WWF Women's Championship with her. What happened next stunned the wrestling world. Live on national television, she tossed the title into a trash can. In wrestling, that's considered a massive betrayal, and it sparked outrage. It also kept her away from WWE for nearly 2 decades. She didn't return until she was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2015. Years later, Miceli explained what led to that shocking moment. Speaking to WWE.com, she said she was under contract with WCW, and then President Eric Bischoff told her to do it. "It was either that or I was out the door," she shared. The backlash was swift, with people labeling her a disgrace to the business. However, Bischoff had a different take on the event. On his podcast, 83 Weeks, he claimed it wasn't his idea, but hers. "She's fine making money off the moment, but she wants to put the heat on me," he said. "She remembers things differently than they actually happened. She's delusional." No matter whose version is closer to the truth, that one moment became a defining chapter in wrestling history, one that came with a steep price for Alundra Blaze. Vader. When Leon White, famously known as Vader, joined the WWF in 1996, fans had high hopes. With a track record as a former WCW champion and a wrestling sensation in Japan, it seemed like he was destined to dominate the main event scene. Initially, that's exactly how the WWF positioned him. Vader made a strong impression, even pinning WWF champion Shawn Michaels in a 6-man tag match at In Your House 9 International Incident. The real test came the following month at SummerSlam 1996, where Vader faced Michaels in a highly anticipated match for the title. But things didn't go as planned. During the match, Michaels grew visibly frustrated when Vader missed a cue to move during an elbow drop. HBK's irritation boiled over, and he screamed at Vader in the ring, making the tension clear to everyone watching. After the match, Michaels reportedly went straight to Vince McMahon and said he didn't want to work with Vader anymore. This one moment had massive consequences. Vader was originally set to win the WWF title at Survivor Series 1996, but those plans were scrapped. Instead, Psycho Sid ended up taking the title from Michaels. Jim Ross later revealed on the Grilling JR podcast that Michaels essentially killed Vader's push. After that SummerSlam mishap, Vader's momentum in the company evaporated. By 1998, he was released without ever holding a championship in the WWF. A career that started with so much promise fizzled out before it truly began. Daniel Puder. Daniel Puder brought something unique to WWE. As a tough-enough contestant with an MMA background, he seemed poised to become a big name, much like Ken Shamrock before him. His journey took an unexpected turn during a 2004 episode of SmackDown, when Kurt Angle issued an open challenge to the tough-enough competitors. Angle, an Olympic gold medalist, easily defeated Chris Naroki before Daniel Puder stepped up. What happened next shocked everyone. Pewter managed to lock Angle in a real Kimura hold, a dangerous submission move that could have broken Angle's arm. The referee quickly counted a pinfall victory for Angle, even though Pewter's shoulders weren't fully on the mat. This quick decision was made to protect Angle and prevent serious injury. Years later, Pewter shared his perspective on the Unscripted podcast, calling Angle a punk and accusing him of being bitter about losing control during the contest. Pewter insisted he was just playing by the rules and doing his best, but Angle refused to shake his hand afterward. Angle saw things differently. Speaking to the Hannibal TV, he admitted Pewter caught him in a submission hold, but explained it wasn't supposed to happen. "I told him afterward, 'You're a dumbass, and you pinned yourself,'" Angle said. Despite the incident, Angle claimed he liked Pewter and thought they got along. However, Pewter's career in WWE didn't recover. In an interview with the Bubba Army, Angle revealed that Pewter had become overconfident, which led to a hard lesson at the 2005 Royal Rumble. Veterans like Chris Benoit, Hardcore Holly, and Eddie Guerrero delivered a brutal beatdown, effectively ending Pewter's WWE aspirations. Jackson Riker. Jackson Riker seemed to have a bright future ahead of him. After making a name for himself in TNA as Gunner, his move to WWE garnered attention. With his imposing physique and strong presence, Riker quickly became part of the Forgotten Son stable in NXT, alongside Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler. By April 2020, the group made their main roster debut on SmackDown, portraying American patriots and appearing set for a big push in the tag team division. But things unraveled in June 2020. During the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, Riker posted a pro-Donald Trump tweet, even using the Forgotten Sons catchphrase. The post didn't sit well with many WWE employees and fans. It created significant backlash, especially because the comment felt poorly timed and insensitive. Riker's stablemates quickly distanced themselves from his remarks, but the damage was done. The Forgotten Sons were taken off TV, and their push came to a sudden halt. Fightful later reported that Riker was removed from the faction altogether. While he continued to wrestle sporadically, he never regained momentum and was released by WWE in November 2021. Even after leaving WWE, Riker stirred controversy again in May 2022. On Twitter, he posted a call to action against abortion, homosexuality, and what he described as the gender agenda. This only added to his reputation as a polarizing figure, overshadowing his once promising wrestling career. Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam had a style and personality that made him instantly recognizable. His 420 references weren't subtle, they were loud and clear. By 2006, RVD was one of WWE's biggest stars. He defeated John Cena for the WWE Championship at One Night Stand and was also handed the ECW Championship by Paul Heyman when the brand was relaunched. For a moment, RVD was on top of the wrestling world, flying high both figuratively and literally. But that same year, things took a turn. In July 2006, RVD and Sabu were pulled over for speeding. During the stop, they were arrested for drug possession, as reported by TalkSport. Under WWE's wellness policy, the company could have terminated RVD's contract on the spot. Instead, he was suspended for 30 days and stripped of both of his titles. On the Icons episode dedicated to RVD, Vince McMahon opened up about his reaction to the arrest. "I was personally upset over Rob's actions because I thought he was above that," Vince said. "Obviously, when something like that happens, we have to be concerned about how the company looks, and Rob was not champion much longer." That moment marked the end of RVD's main event run in WWE. Though he remained with the company for another year and made occasional returns later, the opportunity to be WWE's top guy was gone for good. Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin's WWE journey is a story of missed opportunities and unfulfilled potential. After dedicating 12 years to the company, his exit left fans and colleagues disappointed. Corbin had the talent and respect backstage, but poor booking and missed chances held him back from becoming a top star. Before wrestling, Corbin played professional football with the Indianapolis Colts and Arizona Cardinals. At 6'6" and 284 pounds, he had the size and presence perfect for WWE. Joining NXT in 2013, he initially struggled, but gained traction in 2014 as a heel. Memorable rivalries with Bull Dempsey, Rhino, and Samoa Joe helped him stand out. His main roster debut at WrestleMania 32 saw him win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, hinting at a bright future. But a loss to Dolph Ziggler in his first pay-per-view match stalled his momentum. While he got chances on SmackDown, including a shot at the WWE Championship, Corbin remained stuck in the mid-card. Winning the Money in the Bank briefcase in 2017 felt like his breakthrough moment. However, a failed cash-in attempt against John Cena sent a clear signal that WWE didn't view him as a main event star. Brief runs as United States Champion and King of the Ring winner didn't help his career. Even a return to NXT in 2023 couldn't reignite his fading momentum. Corbin's time in WWE became a tale of what could have been, marked by unfulfilled promise and frustrating setbacks. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to get our latest updates. Mr. Kennedy. When Mr. Kennedy stepped into WWE, it was clear he had everything it took to be a star. He had the gift of gab, an impressive physique, and decent skills in the ring. WWE and Vince McMahon saw his potential right away, giving him a big push and making it seem like he could be the next big thing. But Kennedy made some critical mistakes that turned the tide against him. One of his first missteps came during a match with Randy Orton. Something went wrong, and Orton complained to Vince McMahon, calling Kennedy unsafe in the ring. That put a major dent in his reputation. Things got worse when Kennedy tried to turn the crowd against WWE's top star, John Cena. It backfired badly, much like CM Punk's infamous rant against AEW's higher-ups. Even Jim Ross, on his Grilling JR podcast, admitted Kennedy's actions weren't the smartest move. The final blow came when Kennedy got caught up in a steroid scandal. This was a big deal, especially since Vince McMahon had dealt with a major steroid trial in the past that nearly destroyed WWE. Kennedy's suspension marked a turning point. When he returned, he couldn't regain his momentum. By 2010, Kennedy revealed in an interview with Fan House that complaints from Cena and Orton had effectively ended his WWE career. Brad Maddox. From 2012 to 2015, Brad Maddox carved out a unique spot for himself in WWE. He started as an authority figure, working as a referee and eventually becoming the general manager of Raw. Toward the end of his time with the company, Maddox began wrestling, but his matches mostly took place at live events or dark matches that didn't air on TV. What ultimately ended Maddox's WWE career wasn't his in-ring performance, but something he said during one of these off-camera events. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Maddox explained what happened. During a promo at a live show in Indianapolis, he called the crowd a word he thought was harmless. To Maddox, it didn't seem like a big deal, but Vince McMahon disagreed. Vince was watching, and he wasn't happy. That one word cost Maddox his WWE career. And just like that, Maddox's time with WWE came to an abrupt end, leaving fans to wonder what might have been had things gone differently. Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio was a big name in WWE during his first run, climbing to the top as one of the company's main stars. But everything changed on August 7, 2014, when WWE announced his contract had been terminated for unprofessional conduct and an altercation with an employee. The incident stemmed from a comment made by a WWE social media manager who reportedly joked that Del Rio should be responsible for washing dishes, a remark many found racist. When Del Rio confronted the individual, the person refused to apologize. Frustrated and insulted, Del Rio slapped him. The situation stirred up debate in the wrestling world. Many fans and wrestlers supported Del Rio, believing the joke was offensive and WWE's decision to fire him was unfair. Del Rio returned to WWE a year later, but things were never the same. His star power had diminished, and in August 2016, he was suspended for violating the company's wellness policy. Just a month later, Del Rio left WWE for good. Reports from the Wrestling Observer suggested Del Rio felt let down by the company, as several promises, like a push to the main event, never materialized. In 2017, Del Rio took to Periscope, where he accused WWE of being racist, further burning bridges with the company. Between his controversial exit and outspoken criticism, Del Rio became persona non grata in WWE, closing the chapter on his career there. Ryback. Ryback's WWE career is a tale of wasted potential, shaped by setbacks and poor decisions. Born Ryan Allen Reeves in 1982, his love for wrestling started early, though he excelled in sports like baseball and football. After a college baseball injury ended his hopes, he focused on wrestling, earning a WWE contract through the reality show Tough Enough. Starting in developmental territories like OVW, Ryback adopted his Terminator-inspired persona. In 2012, he became a dominant force, winning quick matches and captivating fans with his "Feed Me More" catchphrase. With his momentum building, Ryback seemed destined for the WWE Championship. However, his undefeated streak ended at Hell in a Cell 2012 in a controversial finish, halting his rise. Despite his popularity, Ryback's career began to falter. A 2015 Intercontinental Championship reign failed to excite fans due to weak matches and lackluster storylines. A heel turn and new look in 2016 didn't help, leaving him stuck in the mid-card without direction. Frustrated, Ryback left WWE in 2016 and used social media to criticize Vince McMahon and the company, gaining attention for his rants but damaging his reputation. His career faltered due to missteps and public outbursts, proving that talent alone isn't enough for lasting success in wrestling. Paige. Paige's rise in WWE was nothing short of extraordinary. She made history in 2014 by winning the Divas Championship on her debut night, defeating AJ Lee at just 21 years old. As the youngest Divas champion ever, her future seemed limitless. But by 2017, a neck injury forced her to retire at just 25, cutting her in-ring career heartbreakingly short. Injuries weren't her only struggle. Paige faced controversies, including 2 suspensions in 2016 for violating WWE's wellness policy. Her relationship with Alberto Del Rio and public incidents, like an airport argument, often overshadowed her achievements in the ring. Paige attempted a comeback in late 2017, leading absolution, but another neck injury during a live event ended her wrestling career for good. She transitioned to new roles, such as SmackDown General Manager and managing the Kabuki Warriors, but her heart remained in wrestling. In 2022, Paige left WWE and debuted in AEW as Saraya, reigniting her career and proving her resilience after years of challenges and setbacks. Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard's talent in the ring is undeniable. With her skills, she could easily stand alongside names like Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair as one of the top stars in women's wrestling. But Blanchard's career has been overshadowed by controversy, making her more of a polarizing figure than a celebrated one. In January 2020, Blanchard faced serious accusations of racism and bullying from other wrestlers, though she denied the claims. Despite the backlash, she managed to push through the storm and achieve something historic, winning the Impact World Championship. This made her the first woman ever to hold the title, a groundbreaking moment in wrestling history. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic, throwing the world and wrestling into chaos. While holding the championship, Blanchard chose to stay in Mexico and didn't appear on Impact's TV programming. She was still expected to defend her title at the Slammiversary pay-per-view in July 2020, but tensions between her and the company grew. According to reports from PW Insider, she didn't submit her taped promos as required, which strained her relationship with Impact even further. The breaking point came when Impact asked her to drop the title, but they couldn't agree on how it would happen. In June 2020, Impact decided to terminate her contract. This marked a turning point for Blanchard's career. With her past controversies and the fallout with Impact, both WWE and AEW appeared reluctant to sign her. Blanchard later tried to restart her career with WOW Wrestling, but reports suggest she had another falling out and left before the promotion's relaunch. For now, a career that once seemed destined for greatness remains in limbo, leaving fans to wonder if Tessa Blanchard can ever overcome her controversies and reclaim her spot in wrestling. These are the stories of wrestlers who ended their own careers due to their mistakes and decisions. Their misfortune was that their choices not only impacted their professional lives, but also affected their personality and public image. In the world of wrestling, where hard work and relentless effort are required, these wrestlers lost their way through their own actions. Sometimes it was misunderstandings, and sometimes personal matters that harmed their careers, which not only affected their personal lives but also shattered their fans' expectations. Their stories teach us how important mental maturity and seriousness are in the journey to success. These stories not only reflect the struggles of these wrestlers, but also show how unpredictable and unconventional the world of pro wrestling can be. Every decision has an impact, and sometimes those impacts can completely change the course of a career. That's it for today's video. From bad choices to missed chances, these stories show how hard it is to stay at the top in wrestling. Now, we want to hear from you. Which wrestler's downfall surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wrestling stories. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.